How not ready are you? Because we're live.
We're live. I am alive. Can confirm.
Oh, you're actually not ready as you're jumping through the topics. We have great topics. The best of topics.
The best of topics.
Right. Starting with Google Pixel, we'll start reading your heart rate and breathing. Now, is this the phone or the watch?
The phone. Does that scare you?
Kind of.
It's not as bad as you think.
How can it measure your breathing if it's on your pocket?
That is the question, isn't it? We'll talk about that.
How to check if your email contains a tracking pixel, which we had talked about last week, I believe. When I first saw this, I thought you had just copy and pasted it over, so I've yet to read this at all.
Yeah. No, it's a slightly different topic, but definitely relevant to what we talked about before.
How long have you owned your smartphone? Not very long, personally, but I'm only on number 3, so that's not too bad in the grand scheme. Of all time? Yep.
Wow.
My 3rd smartphone ever. You're probably on what, number 1 still?
Smartphone. This is probably my 3rd smartphone, actually. Yeah. Yeah, we will talk about it later.
Right. There's this article that tells you how you can use this one neat trick to turn an actual apple into an iPod, according to VR or AI. Acronyms. Facebook, with their VR, which owns Oculus, is looking at making users use realistic avatars in their entirety VR ecosystem. I don't like that, which is probably not surprising for most people at this point. And then AI QWOP. That's our 6th topic.
Yep.
I'm not even putting the spaces in there. It's all one word.
Starting off with the Google Pixel, which will start reading your heart rate and breathing. This article is from Tom's Guide, and when I saw that headline, I just had to click it because we've talked about some wearable technologies. We've talked about watches that keep track of your fitness, fitness devices, that kind of stuff.
Apple Watch.
Yep. And then we've talked about some instances where Apple Watch actually kind of saved people in some health
lucky them
incidents. Yes. And so when I saw this article, I just had to see how this would work. And as it turns out,
it's disappointing.
It was clickbait. It was clickbait, and I got baited. It's talking about using the camera to, you put the camera over your finger, and then the camera detects the change in color or whatever of your finger as the blood flows through each time your heart pumps. So it detects your heart rate that way, which has actually existed for a while, even in smartphones. Yeah. And then the second one, which is slightly probably a newer technology that's not been used extensively, like the fingerprint or the finger heart rate sensor. That's actually really,
I was about to say, mine even has that built in
right now,
and it has the actual sensor in it beside the flash.
And they did say that Google's testing shows it to be accurate to 2%, which is
not
accurate enough for just tracking your heart rate over a long period of time, like if you're just casually doing it to check your heart rate, but it's not like health super accurate.
You got a fan on in the background?
Oh yeah, I do have a fan on. Let me finish this topic and then I'll turn that fan off.
I say that as I hear my fan above me.
I cannot hear your fan over your mic though, so that's good.
Perfect.
The second thing, which they call the respiration tracking, which is just like your breathing rate. This actually, if you scroll like halfway down in the article, or 1/3 of the way down in the article, there's an image of a device a little bit further.
Oh, there it is.
Right there. Yep. So this one, you actually put your phone in front of you and use the front camera, and it looks at your chest and watches your chest move to check your breathing rate. So it's not as spooky as the title made it sound, but I understand, they want people to read their article. So yeah, go ahead.
A curious one for you. A long time ago when I was in judo, one of the things that they would tell you is to instead of breathing through your chest, to breathe through your stomach. And so as you like inhale, exhale, try and make it so your shoulders don't go in and out like you're the Incredible Hulk, but you just let your stomach go in and out as you breathe. And so I always think about that. So if, like, it's one of those weird things, like you're now breathing through your nose, and now you think about breathing through your nose. It happens to me. It's like you're now breathing with your stomach instead of your chest or whatever. And I automatically start doing that where I'll have my stomach go in and out instead of making my chest come and inflate and exflate or deflate.
Okay, yeah. I haven't heard as much about that, but I have heard you sing with your diaphragm. Whatever that means. Air going into your lungs still, right? As long as the air stays in your lungs, you know, that's where it's at. Speaking from experience.
Oof.
Oof. Yeah, so like these features are, you know, if you're just casually checking your heart rate or your breathing rate over like months at a time just to kind of track your overall fitness, maybe somewhat useful. But if you're trying to track your heart rate to like actually monitor your heart over a short period of time,
extreme sports, then
yeah, it's not the best fix for you. Which actually I've been interested. So we've talked a little bit about, have we talked about rock climbing at all or kayaking on this?
I don't think on camera, no, actually. We talked about me almost dying on kayaking, I'm sure. There's no way we haven't talked about me.
Yeah. So one thing that I've actually been a little bit interested in would be to get a smartwatch and to do some more extreme activities or just life in general to see how like stress
what's killing you the fastest
heart rate. Yeah. Because, you know, when I was new to climbing, I was definitely more stressed out than I am now. So I'd be interested to see like
how calm you are.
How calm I am, yeah. Like how much my heart rate actually goes up doing these things.
We had to turn,
say someone who's newer to the sport, or
yeah, we'll have to turn to a fat man competition to see how extreme of a sport you can be in before your heart rate matches me in VR. Just me standing up.
That might be
right.
A contest for our 2-year anniversary of this live stream. For better or worse.
Yeah, it's getting creepy close. You know what else is creepy close?
The
pixels.
The pixels.
The pixels are creepy close. I don't know.
Yes,
I love all that one.
We have 2 pixel articles.
Back to back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your email knows more about you than you think, which we talked about last time. So
yes.
Of course you saw that last week's live stream.
Of course.
So
it was
did
great.
you actually read this?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of goes into how to stop these things from tracking you, and then also how to spot the emails that have a tracking pixel before you open them. And as far as stopping them goes, there are settings within, or likely there are settings within your email, what do you call it? Email browser? Email client?
Yeah, one's called Tracker, the tracker blocker.
Oh yeah, and then also extensions for like Google Chrome. You can install an extension on Google Chrome to block these trackers, or you can prevent the automatic downloading of images in an email through using something like Gmail or
your email settings.
Most likely your email provider will have settings for that. But then I was kind of interested that there's also some add-ons that will like throw a I don't know what symbol up beside emails which have a tracking pixel. I think maybe it was an eye. Yeah, the eye icon. So if you're concerned about it, it might be worth downloading that or installing that extension.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Oh, yeah, most of it's not bad. I think most of the time with the tracking pixels, it's not malicious. malicious emails are going to be much worse, I think.
Like installing viruses on your
right.
computer. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the article and read the final sentence. That's technically at the end of the article.
Full disclosure, Wired's daily weekly newsletter contain tracking pixels. What?
Yeah, so like it's not necessarily a bad thing to have these tracking pixels in there.
Yeah.
They just want to see, I mean, Wired is probably interested to see how many people actually open the weekly newsletters that they send out, because I can tell you, you know, I'm probably subscribed to
hundreds.
I don't know how many. I actually recently have tried to unsubscribe from them, but you know, like the Raspberry Pi newsletter.
Right.
At one time, I subscribed to that newsletter, and you know, I've received probably hundreds of emails from them, like literally, you know, over a year or two, once a week or so, and opened maybe one or two of them. So I bet you Wired is kind of interested in that, and you know, just to see what kind of impact their newsletters have. So it's not a bad thing, but.
So out of the curiosity of my life, I went over to my Gmail account, went into the spam folder just because that's where I throw everything if I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
7 emails today.
Okay.
And it's from like Best Buy, Waves Audio, data software, more data software, monitoring software. And so it's just these companies like Raspberry Pi where you sign up for an account and then you're forever stuck on this list. But yeah, it looks like I get about 7 a day of just these types of emails, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But then like I'm sure that when I used to do email newsletters that MailChimp probably has the tracking pixels in them. That way I can get all those analytics about who opens it and what time and what location and all that fun jazz. Mm-hmm. Which is not bad stuff to know about your customer database, to be honest.
Yeah. My spam folder has no emails from today, but my inbox has like 5 spam emails just because I'm bad at categorizing my emails, so they just all go to inbox, and that's just for my personal account. You know, I probably have a lot of other email accounts.
Probably,
too many.
Of probably having too many, how many smartphones have you had?
I'm pretty sure I've had 3. I can go over them. Started with Motorola X, fine phone. Went to Motorola G4. I
think so.
Pretty sure that was my next phone. Trash. And then I went to the Motorola G Stylus, which has been pretty good. And all that was probably over a period of about. I bet you I got my first smartphone in 2016. So over about 5 years.
Okay. I'm trying to think of when I got my first phone. I think I also got mine 2016, which I mean, it's not too surprising because we're like pretty close to the same age, same lifestyle. And I'm on my 3rd. But I started with an iPhone, the iPhone 4S, which is, I kind of liked that phone. I liked it because it was tiny. It was super small, which I also kind of like this phone. So and then my second phone is this one.
Okay. Yep.
And like, it's about the same size, but
the Samsung Edge, or what's it called? The Edge?
S8 Edge or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The breaky boy.
Yeah, a nightmare of a phone. Don't buy Samsung phones. Followed by my current phone, the Samsung S10e. Can't trust them.
Should buy the Motorola phones. Not sponsored.
Right. I almost did.
Yep. So we've both kind of averaged about, say,
3
a little over a year and a half on the phone.
Your math is terrible, my dude. Right?
5 years.
I was using my. 1 second. How old am I? We're gonna figure this out real fast. I've been using phones way longer than you then.
Yeah, you have. You probably have had the phone for you probably got a phone about 2 years before I did.
Okay, I think I've had phones for 10 years total.
Oh.
Because I average about 3 years a phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely believe that, especially judging from the age of the iPhone, right? You said like iPhone what,
4S.
4S, yeah.
Oh, there's an
So
easy-
I've averaged about a year and a half, a little bit over a year and a half on a phone, and you've averaged closer to 3. But how long have you had your most recent phone, your current phone?
Almost a year, 9 months, 8 months. Yeah, I bought in like the fall, late summer, early fall.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember which button I clicked on this poll, but I've probably had my phone for between 6 months and a year.
Okay.
So I probably clicked that button. But anyway, if we go to the article, I don't think there was honestly that much on the article other than like it's just a, you know, it has a poll and then talks a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It says analysts claim most folks are upgrading now about once every 2.5 to 3 years, which is kind of along what you said.
Okay, so curious question. Do you think most people are upgrading because of phone technology advancing, or because they break their phone? This is a really easy answer.
That's an interesting question, and I think that makes sense with the stats, actually.
I think it's because people break their phones, coming from a guy that's had to upgrade twice because he broke his phones.
Yeah, I guess my first phone didn't break, but it was just super slow, the Motorola X. My second phone, the screen definitely broke. My third phone, the screen detector is... Oh, that's a lie.
It's close. I looked it up.
How long have you owned your current smartphone?
Oh, my current... Oh,
yeah, not
okay.
average.
Average. Okay, well,
yeah.
I've averaged my current smartphone ownership.
Yeah. So if you look at the results, which
are now
they
skewed.
disappeared for me, I literally can't look at them anymore.
I don't know if you
there
can
we go. View results. The way these are displayed, it's just in most popular to least popular. But you look at the first option, 20% of people hold it for 3 years or more, and 20% of people use it for less than 6 months. So like the two extremes here are a long time and a short time, which is kind of interesting to me. And if you go back to the Google Doc, there's a chart that actually shows.
So here's the curious
from
question.
Shortest amount of time to longest amount of time.
What's the average poll from Android police user? So I don't know the proper way to have worded that sentence out into a comprehensible phrase.
What is the demographic that would complete this poll? Yeah, it's definitely Android enthusiasts for sure.
The less than 6 month crowd. I think if we ran this exact same poll in a newspaper, we'd have much different results. What's a cell phone?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Let's pull this Imgur. Cool. Sign out.
Yeah, so it just shows like.
Okay. 1 minute. Yeah.
Oh.
You see it?
No.
Oh. Open image, new tab. That works. There we go.
I actually rearranged the data from like least amount of time, and those are in months. So 0 months to 6 months, 6 months to 12 months.
Okay.
Because the poll results from the Android site were just
you made
like
this
most popularity. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I just thought it was interesting how each end of the graph was the most, popular vote. Some people keep it for a long time, and some people keep it for, a short time. And then in the middle, it's like, yeah.
Now, do you think these middle people are going to end up being the 36 plus side, but because of, the current time the poll is taken, these people are just on the process of becoming long-term phone owners.
Maybe so, unless they break their phone.
Oh,
You
okay.
know?
Yeah,
Because at some point it will happen.
right.
I mean, or, it's likely to happen.
It has to happen.
Yeah, whether it slows down or... And there's just a pie chart to... I don't know.
Charts.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, I'll take a
Kind of
screenshot of
interesting.
this so you can see it later.
Oh, yeah. And that brings us to
Me.
our sponsor spot. This video is sponsored by...
Nephew
Me.
Tech. Oh, ouch.
No, I was pointing at you.
And this guy over here.
Key. jmartmedia.com.
Oh, you did it. Darn it.
Beat you to it. Speaking of beat you to it, you can
Beat
beat
the,
Apple's AI.
not AI, not Apple's AI, but
Beat
this
someone's
actually
AI.
Open
OpenAI.
AI.
Ooh.
So this was actually kind of hysterical because it's one of those like AI is going to take over the world, and then you get the articles like this. So I have to share it, of course. If Skynet takes over, try writing robot on your shirt. So some people over at OpenAI, the top researchers, decided to see if they could trick a particular version of OpenAI, a clip, something called clip. I don't fully understand any of this, but what it does is it looks at a picture like this, a picture of an apple, and it will give its the confidence level of what it thinks is in the picture, and that's what this percent is. So it's 85.6% sure that this is a Granny Smith, and then it's 0.4% sure that it's an iPod, and then it's pretty much guaranteed nothing else. And so these researchers took a piece of paper and wrote the word iPod and stuck it on the apple. So now it's an Apple iPod. And what's funny here is now it's a 0.1% chance of it being a Granny Smith and a 99.7% of it chance of it being an iPod. The best comment I saw on all of this was that the AI is more sure that this is an iPod than this is a Granny Smith.
Oh, wow.
By
as you
like
can
a
tell.
significant margin, like more
Yeah.
than 10%, almost 15, which is wild to think that this looks more like an iPod to an AI than this looks like an Apple to an AI. And that's what I really got out of it, was that
I looked it up. CLIP stands for Contrastive Language Image Pre-Training. So, the more you know.
sweet. I'm not going to remember any of that.
I already don't remember it. Had a lot of long words.
No kidding. Yeah, but it was definitely interesting to see that.
Yeah, the inaccuracy and the surety, or confidence.
Yeah. That's really the only reason I put that one in there, was that I thought, hey.
Yeah, that's funny. Dang.
So at number 5 will take us to an hour and then some.
So if you're walking around near Tesla's self-driving cars, maybe
write stop on your
maybe-
shirt.
maybe write immovable object on your shirt,
Oh man, there you go.
because the car will not hit you.
Here we go. So this is over on The Verge, who still haven't given us a contract. Mark Zuckerberg says realistic avatars are Facebook's next big VR bet. I hate to think that this is the next big thing with the air quotes there.
What, you wanted something more exciting?
I wanted something that didn't feel like a small software update. Eye and face tracking would amp up VR social features. So that's the cool part about this. So when I first read this article, I believe that like, oh, when you create your avatar, or like for the Nintendo, like your Mii, which they've gotten rid of now, but when you create your online persona, they were gonna make you have to have a realistic version of yourself. So like how Facebook's under their terms of service says that like your profile picture has to be a picture of you. It would be almost the same thing here, where it'd be like you have to have an avatar that looks like you. Otherwise, it might be like identity fraud or something weird like that. Which I can't think of, aside from my personal Facebook, of any account that I own with a picture that even remotely looks like me.
I mean, the Nephew Tech logo kind of looks like you.
Very blocky.
Yeah.
Look at that logo right there. But so from the looks of this is that instead of it being specifically your avatar looking super like you, which I'm sure is going to have to happen anyways, is that it's going to do more facial tracking, which would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things I would like to see is how many VR players actually do like interesting facial expressions. I feel like most VR players are more of the introverted, you know, straight face typed.
Yeah.
And so to see, you know, someone boringly looking at you would be kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of what it was from. I can't think of it right now. Oh, webcam software, when they do the overlays, so like you can become like Santa Claus, or like you have like a cat overlay or dog overlay, and it puts a like face over your face, and then it tries to track like your eyes, but it always just looks super weird because it can't do eye tracking very well. I'm curious if it's going to be like that at the beginning, where it's just so bad that your face is just bugging out and it looks like a Ubisoft game or something.
Ouch. I think that those kind of software features have actually gotten a lot better recently, with more people using mobile apps. And yeah, maybe Zoom to a certain extent too, but
TikTok was one I think.
Oh yeah, TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram might even have some of those features. But yeah, like I don't know the term for them, but yeah, you can make your face do like weird stuff, masks and stuff. So maybe it's gotten better recently.
One of the big benefits with it being in a VR headset with eye tracking, one of the big downsides is eyebrows. So some people like to talk with their eyebrows a lot more than most. And with the VR headset, you're kind of like crushing that part of your face right there. So eyebrow talking isn't very... So like if I'm wearing my VR headset and I lift my eyebrows, it actually lifts the headset off of my nose, because I have the little bit of overhang on my eyebrow. And so I'm able to pull the headset off of my nose if I wanted to. But theoretically, with it encapsulating your eyes, it should be able to create itself its own little ecosystem to help prevent reflections or weird glares or anything like that with eye tracking. And it can almost create the perfect eye tracking setup because it put a box over your eyes. Like, you think they could figure this one out? The
most controlled environment ever. Yeah,
they could almost polarize the lenses and then polarize the cameras in another way, and then like it's perfect. And then I guess mouth tracking wouldn't be too hard with just the headset looking down at the mouth, assuming you're not Pinocchio.
Yeah. As long as your nose doesn't block the view.
Right. Yeah, the really creepy part for me though, like mouth and eye tracking is not that big of a deal. Eyebrow tracking, I don't quite understand how they're going to do it yet, but you know, whatever. Would be making your avatar look like you, which is super weird. So we play a game together. I'm actually going to be playing it as soon as we get off this. Where I usually play as the female characters because they're shorter, and in real life I'm actually shorter, and so when I play with the taller male characters that are like 14 feet tall in this game, I have a weird wobble when I walk. So that's why I never play with them.
Wow. I had no idea that was the reason.
Yeah, so if you play with me, I'll play as a man for one round, and you can see me like this weird glitchy wobble because the distance between the characters' feet and head is different from my feet and head, and so it doesn't know what to do with itself. And so I usually just play as a female character because if you're taller than the character, then your feet just hover like an inch off the ground, and it just like accepts it.
Gotcha.
Which I would much rather that happening.
Yeah.
It would be really weird to be playing a VR game and then to be spotted at Walmart or something and be like, wait.
Recognized from in-game?
Right. That would be creepy. The chances of it happening are next to 0. But my confidence level is not 0. So I don't know. I think just having a pretty default character layout is pretty acceptable.
Yeah. Unless it was, I don't know, maybe for work situations where you actually want to get to know the people you're working with or the clients you're working with, and you're doing that over VR. In which case, this could make a lot of sense.
That could make a little more sense there. But at that point, I don't know if I would want to use VR for work, simply for the amount of times I glitch through the floor.
That wouldn't be distracting in the middle of a conference.
Right. The amount of times I'm sitting there and almost throw up. It's like, we probably don't want to like put my job and my livelihood on the line. I would use AR for work, but not VR. But I'm also, we talked about this last week, one of the few people apparently that's super okay with talking into a camera. To me, this is basically the same as if I just propped you up on top of my desk and talked to you over my screens. Nah, there's no way I'm doing VR work.
And if you won't do it, then guess who else won't do it? Basically anybody in the world. Right.
Imagine having to call out sick because you get too motion sick in VR work.
And I'm just talking like for meetings, you know, if you're meeting with not all day work, because that would be just, I agree. That would be ridiculous.
I'm talking like a front desk assistant or bank teller going and sitting in their living room and then working a teller booth in VR all day.
Huh.
It would be unnatural. And then like so in like Second Life the game, people used to make living there selling stuff. I don't know if Second Life's even a thing anymore. And so I wonder if in a VR ecosystem, if there were a game to come out like Second Life for VR, because like there's VR chat and stuff, if people could make a living just sitting in VR all day selling stuff to other VR players just to sell your brand.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibilities.
Not
for
yet.
Sure.
You know what is outside the realm of possibilities?
Me guessing what you're gonna say.
Very right. Playing QWOP for more than 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. So this was just an article that I saw last minute, and I hopped into QWOP. Wow, which is a funny thing to say. And tried to play it, and my record was less than a meter. So if you've never seen this game, the way it works is you have this character, and he's a runner, and you press the Q and W keys on your keyboard to, like, I don't even know what it does, to contract his thighs or something, and then the O and P buttons keys to contract his calves, and it causes him to run. But it's very hard to time it correctly and to do those things at the same time, and and to actually make him go forward. I mean, half the time I played it, the dude went backwards. But someone created a AI player who was able to beat the world record. And I actually didn't even look at the numbers for the records, but I'm guessing they probably destroyed it.
Are you sure someone did sit there for 40 hours and made a record at QWOP?
I'm not sure, but
So one of the interesting parts about this game, if from my understanding right, is that it's not simply time, because your character can move at different speeds depending on how fast you run, or like that, what, you know, because you're just launching your character forward. Yeah. And so it could be playing for 40 hours at a fast run. And so for a human to get this good, you know, a human could have a 60-hour run and still be slower just because of the speed that they're making this character run at.
Oh, I think this is a different thing than what you're thinking of. It's not like a distance run. It's just running. I don't think it is. Oh. It's just running the 100-meter sprint.
Oh, see, I thought they got a certain distance. There's no way they did a...
Yeah.
They trained for 40 hours. Not they played for 40 hours straight. I thought it was how long did the AI run before dying? And it ran...
No.
I got this all
40
confused.
hours. Yeah. Okay. The algorithm ran for 40 hours, training the AI to actually play QWOP and move forwards efficiently. And what the 40 hours of training is just that algorithm repeatedly trying to get the guy to run. And each time it gets slightly better and better and better. Yeah, does that make more sense?
That makes way more sense. See, I thought they were on like the free run to see how far they could get before dying. And they just let this AI go for 40 hours to destroy any chance of anyone playing longer.
No, yeah, it was a different thing than that. And according to speedrun.com, the fastest 100-meter dash is
48.
Let's see. Yep.
340.
Yep. 38 seconds and 34 hundredths of a second. And
it's actually
this guy's close. AI did it in 47:34. But I bet that if he ran the algorithms for longer, he could get it significantly lower. So he didn't crush it, but he beat it. You know, the AI beat it.
Yeah.
And apparently using the AI to run is considered cheating as far as speedrun is concerned, which is fair enough. I've never really messed with machine learning or AI, but it's definitely interesting how people do that. I've enjoyed some of Coding Bullet's videos.
Yeah,
where
I enjoy watching and being able to follow along, but there's no way I could lead. There's not a chance. I could understand the words and the sentences he builds, but beyond that, I'm like, yeah, these aren't for me.
I can be entertained, but that's it so far.
Yeah.
Well,
I wasn't angry enough, apparently. We only went 40 minutes.
Speaking of being entertained, I hope you were entertained.
Oh, yeah. Another good week. And that's it.
Join us next week to be entertained again.
We're going to talk about all the things.
Everything's.
All the tech.
Both of them.
At least 6. Bye.
6 of them.